LaTisha Scott has just changed the entire game. At 45 years old, after spending years being publicly overshadowed and often silenced in her own marriage, she has delivered a major courtroom win that has left not only her husband, Marsau Scott, stunned but also shocked the entire Love and Marriage Huntsville fanbase. What went down wasn't just a legal case, it was a power move, a shift in the dynamic that no one saw coming. For too long, LaTisha stood quietly beside Marsau while he ran the businesses, handled the finances, and took the spotlight. But behind the scenes, she was watching, learning, and preparing. And now, she's standing tall in her own power. LaTisha and Marsau always presented themselves as the ideal power couple. Educated, successful, and building a brand together, they owned real estate, launched the Black Cigar Lounge, and carried the image of a united front. But over time, the cracks started to show. Viewers saw LaTisha constantly dismissed or cut off in conversations, especially when it came to business. Marsau often took on the role of the decision-maker, while LaTisha's input seemed undervalued. People started to question whether she was being deliberately kept out of important decisions. And while Marsau brushed off rumors of infidelity and marital strain, LaTisha stayed silent, at least publicly. What the public didn't know was that LaTisha was quietly gathering her own receipts. She started asking tougher questions on camera, meeting with lawyers off camera, and shifting her tone from soft and agreeable to firm and strategic. Then came the shocker. LaTisha filed a legal motion requesting a full audit of all their joint assets, citing a lack of transparency in how their businesses were being run. According to insiders, this move completely blindsided Marsau. He wasn't ready for the evidence she had stacked against him. LaTisha's legal team came to court fully prepared, armed with financial records, contracts, and proof that Marsau had been making major financial decisions behind her back. One of the most eye-opening claims was that Marsau had transferred property investments to another LLC, one that LaTisha wasn't even listed on, even though the investments were made using their joint funds. Emails and documents presented in court showed that Marsau had misrepresented facts under oath in earlier legal statements. When questioned directly by the judge, Marsau reportedly struggled to explain the inconsistencies. The judge's ruling was a massive victory for LaTisha. The court granted her not just access to a full financial audit, but also temporary control over two of their joint real estate companies while asset division is ongoing. That's not just a win, it's a statement. It showed that LaTisha is not only capable, but fully aware and involved in everything they built together. It told every woman watching that loyalty doesn't mean silence, and intelligence doesn't always speak the loudest. Social media exploded with support. Fans cheered LaTisha's rise, calling it overdue justice. She began receiving offers for brand endorsements, podcast appearances, and even talks of her own spin-off show focused on powerful women rebuilding after betrayal. Her glow-up has been undeniable. New wardrobe, stronger voice, and a clearer vision for her future. She has stepped into her own light, and she's not stepping back. But of course, with every rise comes resistance. Marsau hasn't taken this defeat lightly. Reports say he's now working with a new legal team and even a media strategist preparing to go public with his side of the story. Sources close to him claim he's gathering documents, emails, and records that he says will prove that he was the real architect behind their empire, and that LaTisha's role wasn't as central as it now appears. He allegedly plans to release receipts that include private messages and financial agreements that could damage LaTisha's public image. Rumors are swirling that Marsau is reaching out to producers at OWN and other networks for exclusive interviews, trying to regain control over the public narrative. Whether he actually has any meaningful evidence or is simply scrambling to protect his